Good morning. I'm the podcast host, Brandon Sandoval, and welcome to the Controversial Podcast. The topic we'll be discussing about today is the Robb Elementary School shooting. So, Houston, our watchdog journalist, explain to us what and when was the shooting?
The school shooting was on May 24, 2022. The shooting sadly caused 19 children to die and 2 teachers. 21 deaths in total.
Where was the Robb Elementary School shooting at?
The school shooting was in Uvalde, Texas.
And who was the shooter?
The shooter was Salvador Ramos, an 18-year-old high school student and a fast food worker, holding a gun on social media and stated, "I'm going to shoot up the school." And he sent messages to his German friend telling him that he was going to do it. He also shot his 66-year-old grandmother, which is tragic, in the head. Video footage of a minor bystander shows the shooter, Salvador Ramos, walking up onto the school before he shot all the kids. We'll now show the video. The cause of his shooting was his troubled life at home. He became obsessed with school shootings to the point where he committed.
That's horrible. How is this conflicting with the Second Amendment, rights to bear arms?
This is conflicting with the Second Amendment because if teachers were allowed to have guns or tasers, this will help stop the intruder instead of just walking home.
And how is this important to us?
This is important because we will be able to prevent school shootings all around the world, which will mean we will be stopping intruders with weapons, which means less deaths from school settings. We wouldn't have to wait for the cops to come and stop an intruder in like this situation. We wouldn't have to risk taking like 90 minutes to stop the shooter. Video footage of the cops just standing there and doing nothing for 90 minutes, which is very cool. We will not show you.
What a horrible tragedy. Thank you for your time, Houston. Moving on to Devony, our legal consultant. Why do we have the Bill of Rights?
We have the Bill of Rights to overall protect the citizens of the U.S. and the rights and to maintain government power.
What was happening in the colonial period that made the Founding Fathers put the Second Amendment in the Bill of Rights?
The Second Amendment, ratified in 1791. The Founding Fathers added the Second Amendment to the Bill of Rights due to the need to secure the rights of individuals. The Second Amendment traces its roots to the English Bill of Rights, which was an act signed into law in 1689. The bill outlined specific constitutional and civil rights and gave Parliament over monarchy, which allowed protesters to have arms for their defense in the Second Amendment.
Do you think anything could happen that could cause them to veto the amendment?
I think shootings, riots, drive-bys, and gangs would be a sign for the amendment to be vetoed. It has caused more harm than good and seen only as a tragic event, but hopefully soon they'll see it as a cry for help. Forcing the government to take charge, people use firearms and abuse the right, so many people veto the right for their arms.
You're right, but we need guns for our protection. If we all have guns, people would be more tame and cautious, which would result in a more safer environment for everyone. So Sebastian, our political journalist, what do you think about this?
I think that the right to bear arms should be because since 2022, 1,408 school shootings in total. And I think that's a very big tragedy.
Are there any groups that are for and against this situation?
Yes, there's groups against school shootings and none that are for. Usually the groups
And who are the groups? Who are the groups?
Usually the groups are parents or teachers because they think that their students should be in a safe and healthy environment rather than being thought that they're in danger.
What is the historical background of school shootings?
One historical background is that the first mass school shooting in the US was where there were students in the playground. They got shot up by a guy.
What year was this?
This year was of April 9th, 1890.
Are there any trends about this topic over the last, say, 2 years?
Around the last 2 years, there's been an increase in school shootings.
that will wrap up our podcast for today. Thank you for your time.